one of the,
Julia.
I'm looking for one of the easels.
Julia. Yeah, really tall. She's out there. She used to be with the Duchess. No, I don't think that's her last name. She has one little 5-year-old kid.
Okay, no. Oh, I just. Yeah, yeah.
She was playing in Rhinebeck and now she's playing.
Yeah, yeah.
Perfect. I just figured to put it up
Yeah,
in
I
front of the
know.
board would be nice.
Yes.
Yeah, I think it's probably.
It's obviously much richer than my children's.
Yes.
I just.
Yeah. She's
So
two
Pete, are
kids
you
at-
going to work at all after
Yeah.
the first of the, are you working at all after the first of the year, or is that it?
Sheila's
Oh.
been around.
Okay,
She, yeah, her son is in Nikki's class.
Yeah, she's two.
just kicking up your heels elsewhere?
Yeah.
Sorry, it's late at lunch. Sheila. Like,
Yeah, you can just put it right over here. You're first on the agenda, so that's great. Good, how are you? Is Goose coming tonight, or is he,
No, he's gone, yeah.
he's away? You can face the, yeah, face the board, yeah. Trying to figure out where it might be best. Maybe just right over there so that.
Sure.
Just sort of right to your side would be great. That way we don't block our consultants, but it'll be a little hard to see, but.
Come on.
Some year, maybe they'll get, the TV and the little laptop
Yeah.
you can plug in the thing
We'll
like
all
everybody
be-
else.
Okay, are we ready, Jen? All right. So we will call the meeting of the Pleasant Valley Planning Board to order. The first item on the agenda tonight is the brewery at Washington Hollow, which has been before us for several meetings. And so I'll just let you begin with your presentation and what you discussed after the last meeting, and then we'll go for comments.
Okay, my name's Garrett Leggett, I'm from Days to Coast Engineers. We've been before the board a couple times with this product already. We've been back and forth with CPL a few times with comments, a few comment letters. We've made some updates and have done resubmittal to you guys a couple times. I think we're finally getting to the point where we've narrowed it down to exactly what Goose wants to have up there. And I feel like we've satisfied most of the comments from CPL. So at this point, we're really just looking to see if we can get a public hearing set.
Okay, and any major changes made from the site as we saw it last month?
I wouldn't say major. It was more of identifying a lot of what the work was to be. I believe everyone's seen the fact that he does want to add, I guess maybe we hadn't mentioned it, maybe we had talked about it last, Mark was here last, the tent site, he does want to have a spot that he could put up tents if he chooses to do an event. And in order to handle that, we put aside some land bank parking areas. But like I said, a lot of it was more identifying the work to be done, a little more clearly on the plans. I think that was it, though. I don't think anything was major.
Okay.
came up.
All right, Megan, do you want to go through comments?
Yep, that's fine. Yes, yep, yeah, I just hadn't updated it yet. I wanted to do it one time.
We wanted to restrict people that were coming out of the park.
Yeah, I noticed that as you made, I have a nice little sketch, and it works out a little bit better.
So, just so that when the people come up and make the right turn, the one-way in, that it's a true, like, one-way in, and then the people that are in the parking area,
Yep,
you know, will know that it's narrowed up, so no big deal.
okay. Yep.
Okay. There was a,
Could you update us on any of the other approvals you submitted to?
I have been back and forth with DOT a little bit. The Perm 33 is in with that. We're in the works of getting the Department of Health submission put together. Brian Scoz is handling that a little bit. Trying to think what else, what other boards we had been. That was the two big ones, yeah. They're a little slow for the DOT, so I'm working on it.
and one comment that county planning had in their comment letter, and we discussed it in our prep call last Thursday, was they made a comment about circulation and something about the access to the farm road that runs from near storage building number 2 to the field along Route 82. I don't think that it's the right-handed turn up to the site, having been to the site and driven around, because that road does not go to the field. It
No.
goes back in at quite a high point.
Yeah.
I think they're talking about that rather steep driveway.
I have a feeling there's a, you mean, you're talking about this one here, they're kind of.
It goes off and
up and
down,
around,
yeah. And that driveway actually comes down into the field. And they just want to make sure that that's restricted to farm access.
Okay, yeah, we
And-
can add, we did that kind of over here, we added a chain with some
Okay.
signage, we can do the same thing over here.
That would be restricted.
Yes.
Okay. And then Pete, did you all think that the main road should be, I know the guardrails need to go on there, but that it should be widened at any
Well,
point?
they are wide.
Yep,
They
it
are,
is wide,
okay.
yep. Yeah, this, we're gonna widen the whole thing 24 feet, all the way here, up and around, and then this, what Pete was just talking about was, I had widened it all the way up to here, but we're gonna narrow that back so there's more of just the parking area that gets widened out, and the direction of traffic is narrowed down there.
Okay,
Yep.
okay, great.
And it's basically gonna be the same kind of gravel surface, hard back gravel. Yeah,
Okay,
I don't think any of the slopes were more than, like, 12, 13.
I think that was the max, yeah, that was at this one spot here, we are adding guardrails now, and we'll add the rest.
just a question, are you going to allow the public access to any other parts
That
of?
wasn't his intention.
Okay.
It was just private fields for him
Okay.
to do his stuff, and they were just to be, coming up here.
They're just going to be at the brewery and not allowed to walk
Because
in
he's
through?
allowed to have a tasting area.
Right.
So that's what he was looking to do.
Okay.
But keep everyone out of the fields.
Okay. Jim, any comments?
No, the only note I was thinking about was the 239M and the timing. And you were already on that. I think your intention was to be ready for a hearing.
Yeah,
let
And it's
the
been-
run within it.
right. So, any comments, questions from the board? No, we did with the heat, I didn't even attempt to do a site visit, but, and I don't think one's absolutely necessary, but I think tonight the intention is to authorize, subject to board comments for public hearing. So we might set that just so the board will have seen the site
Okay.
in the next month before that hearing. Having said that, any comments from the board, further comments, or questions? About, and just to flip it around and see the elevations are still the same?
Yep, haven't changed. It's still the same intention. This was the sign detail.
And
Together.
first we'll deal with your site plan and
Yep.
then the sign separately, because I
Yeah.
do have a comment from the zoning administrator as
Okay,
well.
That's
So,
fine, yeah.
so any other comments or thoughts from the board? Then I will make a motion that we authorize the applicant to circulate for a public hearing on this site plan at the next meeting to be held in September of the planning board. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second from Trish, all in favor? Great,
All right.
okay.
You have to advertise, so you
Yeah,
work
of
with the
course, yeah.
planning office, and they'll give you whatever.
Now, wait, before you go, we'll deal with the sign.
Okay,
So,
yeah, absolutely.
two things about the sign as submitted.
Yep.
According to the zoning administrator, it's too large.
It's too large, okay.
And she can issue that opinion that says that it all has to be taken into account, and so it's overly large.
Okay.
So, in that situation, what would.
Does she mean, I'll check
She-
with her. She means this entire.
The entire thing,
Okay.
yes. So
Okay.
there are two choices you have. You can either scale it back in accordance to where
Which I'm sure he'll be fine with.
it's approved by her, or you could go to the ZBA for a waiver of the sign
I'm
restrictions.
sure he'd be fine.
And then the other thing, so you'll have to come back with the sign according to scale to be
Yep.
approved here.
Okay.
But if you could also show the location of the sign, because the zoning administrator was concerned that the location of the sign was going to be a little too far from the entrance.
Yeah, I do have it located on the plan. He was looking to put it here because there's a kind of steep incline here.
Uh-huh.
And he didn't want it out in the road to block view, right, which is good from fire advisory board's standpoint. He was just gonna push it back there so that you had access, and you can see it from both ways.
Okay, and how far would that be? Well, the fire advisory board will want to look at the placement of it too, to confirm that there's no site impact, site distance impact. And the other thing is just to talk, because when I was speaking with the zoning administrator, it seemed as though she was indicating to me that she thought the sign was several hundred feet down the road.
Oh, no,
So,
it's right here, yeah.
okay,
It's
so,
been there the whole time.
all right, so I think we just need to clarify that. Any comments from the board just on the design of the sign as presented, just to give guidance to the applicant, even though it has to come back to us within scale allowed by code, but, and the base of that is a stone.
Yeah, so he was gonna have some stone on the pillars here as well. And I think he was gonna redo one of the chimneys with some stone, so it's gonna kind of
Work
work
in.
into that.
Okay. Any thoughts, comments? Okay.
So
I think,
for the next, planning board meeting, should we go ahead and prepare, subject to whatever we hear at the public hearing, prepare a negative declaration, and you think you're at the point where you may want to consider conditional site plan?
I think that we could consider, because we haven't had any subsequent comments from the board, and so once you circulate, we don't make a secret determination until we hear from the public, and that's at the close of the public hearing. But after that, depending on what responses we have from the public, consider it. So I think so, Pete.
I think Garrett, I don't think there's anything in our letter that's like major, so I don't think you need to make another like submission.
Okay, yeah, I didn't see it as that.
No, so we'll just, assuming that the board gets to conditional, final, we'll just include, our letter as one of the conditions.
Yeah. And all you have to do is resubmit the sign, same design,
Yep,
but just
and we'll get it down.
decide on the size. And,
Was there a comment letter from Sarah?
it was a text to me. I'm not sure she's issued a comment letter yet,
fine.
but I think it'd be fine to work with her so
Yeah.
you have the dimensions.
I'll touch base.
And if you decide, you've got time since you're not opening for a while, so if you decide to go for a larger sign,
Yeah.
you could go to the ZBA.
I'll check with
So-
Mike about that.
Okay. All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Great. Okay, the next item on the agenda, number 2, is the Robert Catrini subdivision. Bob,
Good evening,
how are you?
doing? Good. Good. How you doing?
Okay. Megan, if you'd like to go through comments to begin.
I think most of our comments were satisfied here. There was just an error in the wall control, which isn't a big deal. The highway superintendent issued a letter regarding the driveways and locations. I think one of the driveways had to be raised 18 inches.
Yes.
So, I mean, that was the condition for him.
Mhm.
And other than that, our comments appear to be satisfied.
Okay. Any comments, Jim?
No, we talked about the shared driveway, I think.
There's no shared driver.
Yeah. They're removing, it's shared at the moment because it's going from the house into the other part of
Right.
your home as it exists now, but that's going to be removed.
Okay.
So, any other thoughts or comments? So the only thing left for you is to circulate for a public hearing that's
Right.
required for subdivision, which we talked about last time. And if there are no objections, I think you're ready to do that. So I will make a motion that we authorize Robert Catrini to circulate for a public hearing for the Robert Catrini subdivision. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second from Trish, all in favor?
Aye.
So now you just work with the office to send out the certified letters, and then there's a publication in the paper of record. I think it's the
Northern
Northern
Duchess.
Duchess, yeah.
Yeah.
And the other thing that we did discuss was whether or not we post a subdivision sign on any land that's going to be subdivided. And Megan did some research on that today, and that's something that sometimes we've required in the past, but it's not a requirement of the code. So I don't know, I'll let the board weigh in if they feel it's necessary in this case. It's a small subdivision usually in the past. I think those have been made for major subdivisions.
In my opinion, I don't think it needs it.
Okay.
Just-
And every adjacent landowner gets a certain
Notification, exactly. And it's not creating a subdivision that will change traffic patterns or things like that in your neighborhood. So, all right, so there's no requirement that it be posted on the site. You can just work with the office to circulate for the public hearing. And just as we just discussed for the last applicant, we don't make a secret determination until after your public hearing, but once the public hearing is closed, if we don't hear any major objections or things like that, we can probably move to a final, taking into account any comments. Okay,
Yeah, Courtney already gave me everything, so the letters are all prepared, and I've already taken out the ad.
great. Okay.
Okay, great.
All right, we'll see
All
you
right,
in
thanks.
September.
Take care.
Thank you.
Okay. Not as long?
All right. The final item on the agenda is the Players Club, 845. Great, and you can just state your name for the record so we have it.
John
and then-
Mason.
And explain what you're doing and your change of use.
It's sneakers and apparel. I guess it was an eye place before. And I thought I was just here for the sign. Was it I had to come get approved for a sign?
Yes, here for the sign, and I think it was submitted to us for approval for change of use
Oh,
as
she
well.
told me it was good on that, but that's all right.
No, if the zoning administrator, if she already made the decision that you were,
Yeah, it was good
met
for
the
the
requirements.
change of occupancy.
Okay.
But the sign, just so you know, it's not the big black behind it. It's simple black and white, and you can actually see through the sign. So it goes on the window over there, the same size as a smoke shop.
Okay,
So you could see through, so you can actually see the inventory.
okay. All right. So, we did have a notice from Sarah Davis, zoning administrator, that the sign was compliant. She worked with you on that.
Little bit.
Does anyone on the board have any comments? Any thoughts? All right, then I will make a motion that we approve the Players Club sign, Kicks and Apparel, as submitted. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second from Trish, all in favor?
Aye.
Great.
Thank you,
All
guys.
set, thank
Have a
you.
great night.
In a record time, I will make a motion that we close the meeting of the planning board. Do I have a second?
Second.
Okay, we are closed, thank you all. I'm gonna call Michael and tell him.